Hey guys, and welcome back to Born Traveller. Right, in this video we're going to talk about Wise Bank versus Revolut Bank. Which is better for a traveller? Okay, let's get started. So why do you need one of these banks? Well, they're both online app banks, basically like digital banks. They differ from traditional banks in they're cheaper and more affordable and more geared towards travel. So let's start with Wise. Wise is a multi-currency account. You can store up to 50 different currencies on this one app, on this one account you have. With that account, you get a physical debit card, which is MasterCard usually, as well as a Visa card, which is digital, and also one-off digital cards you can create for transactions you want to do online where you worry about security. The main reason people use Wise is because of its great rates moving money from one country to another. For example, you're moving money from the UK to Australia. The rates are much better than, say, a traditional bank. Now let's look at Revolut. Revolut is pretty much the same as Wise. You can't hold as many currencies though, only 30, but it is a multi-currency account that you can hold all different currencies in. You can also get a debit card, which comes in the form of both MasterCard and Visa card, so it is a little bit more flexible than, say, Wise. But Revolut offer more services, such as keeping cryptocurrencies, buying stocks and shares, as well as actually possibly getting some kind of loans from them. Now let's talk about transfer fees and withdrawal fees. Well, when it comes to Wise, Wise is very transparent about their fees, very open, and you'll get exactly the amount you're going to pay before you send the amount. So basically, you set up the transfer, and before you press send, it will tell you exactly how much that is going to cost you. It's a guaranteed rate. They're not going to change it halfway through the transfer. Once that rate's set, that is what it will cost you. In terms of ATM fees, they do charge you to take money out of an ATM. However, they do offer you such a good exchange rate in the local currency that normally this is offset. But in reality, the only fees you're going to pay is what the ATM actually charges you in that country. For example, let's say in Thailand, they charge you 220 baht to use the ATM and the bank's exchange rate as well on their side. So if you go to a country where the exchange rates are pretty good, like Albania or Macedonia, to be fair, you barely pay anything. You might pay $2 or $3 in terms of charges. Whereas something like Turkey or Thailand, you're going to pay between $10 and $15, taking $200 to $300 US out. It is much higher. And in that case, it's not really Wise that are charging you, it's the local bank that are ripping you off. In my experience, Revolut, on the other hand, do charge you a slightly higher fee, and also the exchange rate is not as good as Wise. However, up to £200, they don't charge you to take money out of an ATM, which is pretty reasonable. Having said that, once that's £200 is gone, which is pretty low for a traveller, then you will start to get charged more. Overall, in my experience, I found Wise to be cheaper than Revolut. Let's move on to customer service. Wise's customer service, in my experience, is fantastic. If I've ever had a problem with my account, like say I got locked out, or I forgot the password, or something's gone wrong, or I have a query with the transaction, I can send them a message or I can ring them and they are straight on it. And to be fair, I've never had a problem that they've not been able to solve pretty quickly. So for example, somebody stole my phone in India and I was locked out my Wise account. Other banks would have made you go back to the UK. Wise, however, all they did was they sent me a one-off email to my email account, and that way I was able to reconfirm and get it access to my account again. They have multiple numbers you can call them around the world on. It does cost you money, but you can call them and speak to a human being if you need to. And on the occasion I have had to with transactions and other things that have gone wrong, as you do as a traveller. Things are always going to go wrong when you're a traveller and you're taking money out of ATMs. The card gets blocked, the transaction gets blocked, you get charged twice. There's a multitude of things that can happen, but Wise have always managed to sort it for me. Now let's talk about Revolut. Well, diabolical. I don't really know where to start. My personal experience with Revolut has been absolutely terrible. In fact, I don't actually have a Revolut account anymore. They closed it. Short story, if you want to see the video, I've done another video about it here. Basically, I was in Vietnam. I went to take some money out. I put my card in. I asked for $150. The card came out, no cash came out. I contacted Revolut, and the only way you can contact Revolut, and this is where it gets really bad, is by email, their app service. And I sent them an email, explained my situation. They did get back to me quite promptly within, like, say, 10 minutes. But I do feel like that was an automated response, but I can't confirm that. So I went to the ATM again and I tried to take some money out and it just refused it. And so I checked my account and it says your account's been blocked and it's under investigation. I was like, what the hell is going on? The app wouldn't let me access my money, but it would let me access the chat. So I contacted them again and they said, I'm sorry, we've spotted some suspicious activity on your account and it's under investigation. We'll get back to you when the investigation's finished. And I was like, okay, how long is that going to take? And it was pretty much stonewalled then. I didn't really hear back. And I kept sending messages and I just kept getting these automated responses back. And day after day, my account was blocked. And after 2 weeks, I got this message saying, your account has been closed and we returned your funds back to the original source. And that was it. Gone. No more Revolut, no more account, customer service. So I thought, right, I'll ring them. There is no physical way to ring them, to talk to them on the phone. The only way you can talk to Revolut is through their app chat, which seems to be automated. And on the odd occasion, you'll get a human who actually talks to you. But most of the time, it's going to be a computer AI response. So overall, I think the customer service, unfortunately for Revolut, is absolutely terrible. However, I'm not biased, and I must admit, I have had a lot of comments from my YouTube channel, people saying, well, that was your fault, it was your fault. You know, I've had Revolut for 5-6 years, never had a problem. So just go in with caution that this can happen. They can just block your account. It just happens. But there are a lot of people out there who use this service and never have a problem. So really, it's down to you to decide which you think is better. Let's talk about security. Is your money safe? Well, kind of. As far as I know, the liquidity of both Wise and Revolut is pretty good. These banks, even though we're kind of in the middle of what seems to be a financial crisis, they seem to have a lot of liquidity. Wise, the last time I checked, it had $5 billion of liquidity, so it's not struggling for money. I think Revolut's in pretty good shape as well. I don't think either one of these banks is struggling for money. Although you have to understand that we've had pretty bad times with crypto that could affect Revolut more than Wise. Wise don't really touch crypto, and I would suggest if you are in the crypto market not to use a Wise account for your crypto because they probably will block the account. Having said that though, these banks are not traditional banks. They are not guaranteed under the protection scheme of any government. So for example, normal bank accounts are normally insured up to $100,000. If you've got $100,000 in the account and it goes bankrupt, as we've seen recently with SVB, this can happen. So with a traditional bank, you're guaranteed up to $100,000 and you'll get your money back. With Wise or Revolut, they are not traditional banks. So whatever money you've got in there, it's gone. So my advice is you can use these services, but I wouldn't use it as a savings tool. I am actually going to do a follow-up video about banking and where to bank in the world, where probably your money's, for me, is the most secure as a digital nomad, where you can keep your money and it's easiest to do it. So overall, you can see both services are pretty good. When it really comes down to it, it comes down to what you really want from one of these services. If you want a Visa card and a MasterCard, and you want to get into crypto and you want more services, then Revolut might be for you. If you're transferring a lot of money all the time and you want multiple currencies and you're not really bothered about the physical Visa card, then I would recommend Wise. For me, I've been with Wise now for 5 years and I've never had a problem. But as I said, this video is not biased, so I would still consider Revolut to be a good option for some people, just not me. Okay guys, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please remember to subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification button, and I'll see you next time.